In October of 2021, my DJI Spark, after flying at over 100 feet for about 2.5 minutes, precipitously crash landed, unbeknownst to me, in a parking lot on the other side of a building. I had actually thought the drone had crashed on the roof of the building, but fortunately, after doing some exploring, I discovered it in a parking lot where, had it not had any little 2-inch pontoons on it, it probably would have been damaged. I discovered after some testing that there was a problem with the drone. After it being on for about 5 minutes, it would overheat and just wouldn't take off. Further testing with a Ryobi laser pointer thermometer, and we established that room temperature, which is about 70 degrees Fahrenheit, after it being turned on for a few minutes, would go up to 137 degrees Fahrenheit, which, apart from the fact that the normal fan sound that one you would hear when you turn on the Spark wasn't in evidence. What you would hear is intermittent clicking. Maybe to me it sounded like the fan was trying to turn on, but then it would just stop dead, which made a type of clicking sound. I did more testing with the remote control and the phone app combination, and I was determined that I was able to maneuver the gimbal, and I was able to initialize the takeoff and the land while the drone was held in a vise. So, from all intents and purposes, it wasn't a problem with the remote or the commands from the remote. It was just simply the drone was overheating, which led me to believe it was a problem with the fan. Doing some searching online, I was able to source a replacement fan for the DJI Spark on Amazon, and turned out they were asking $8 for the price of the fan. So that was a no-brainer. I ordered a fan, and I waited for it to deliver before attempting to open up the drone and doing more investigation. Open up a DJI Spark. You first remove the battery and you turn it upside down, and there are 6 screws, hexagonal screws, which you can use an Allen key, especially when it's the screws that are on either side of the gimbal. A slender Allen key is the ideal tool to use to untether the screws without risk of interfering with the gimbal. So I highly recommend an appropriate Allen key for that. And then the other 4 screws are easily detached from the body of the drone.
Let's see if these ones are. Nope.
One hidden feature of the Spark is they filled in the hexagon screw heads with a kind of a vinyl material. So I needed something like a sewing needle to go in and try to fish out the little fill-in material that was impeding the ability of the hexagon screwdriver to fit into the slot. So if this is the first time you're opening up a DJI Spark, look out for the middle screws, the two of them in the middle. You should find that they're filled in with some easily removed vinyl material. Using a spudger and pressing in between where the arms meet the body. So just in the middle of where the arms meet the body, press in with a plastic spudger, and the drone cover should easily unclip on one side. And then with a little bit of prying, the front registration plastic prods that fit into the nose of the drone that don't necessarily require any special prying maneuver. They'll just slip out cleanly. Having the top cover removed and the DJI Spark exposed,
The battery gets inserted and the spark gets turned on. We examine what's happening with the fan. The fan just has very short bursts, turning on for a quarter of a second, and then it freezes, and then it starts up again at intervals. So it was clear that that was where the problem was. Something was going on with the old fan, and so we bought a replacement fan from Amazon. It was all of $8, basically a no-brainer. As far as if that was the issue, it really wasn't expensive to replace. The key thing is to try to do this procedure without creating any new damages to the Spark that it didn't have to begin with. It's prudent, I think, to do thorough examinations, test and retest, just to make sure that the only problem that was going on was what we identified with this examination, which was an issue with the fan, before proceeding to remove it and replace it with the new fan, which we will do in a moment or two. The fan is held into place with 4 Phillips head screws and a little mounting plate. It also has a little bit of adhesive on the electrical coupler and the back of the fan that comes into contact with the motherboard. Using a spatula, it was really easy just to slide the spatula in between the adhesive adhering the fan to the motherboard. It really didn't take a lot of prying to loosen it up from where it was once glued. Just make note to be careful not to tug too hard or to stress out the electrical wires. It is held into the motherboard with a little clip, which is easily remedied with something like a flathead screwdriver, a tiny flathead screwdriver. Here you see it's not a very big clip, and it's not too complicated to decouple it from the motherboard. The most effective way to reinstall the new fan is to use the electrical connector and couple that first. Then you rotate and you position the fan into place. It's not that difficult. There is a little registration pin on the motherboard which inserts into the fan, so it's a no-brainer as to the positioning, how to fit it into place. A little set of tweezers was all that was needed to fit the electrical coupler back into the motherboard. Then the little wires get contoured to the outside edge of the fan. There's a little clip that holds the wire into place, and you can also opt to use some kind of adhesive where to just gum up where the little plastic coupler meets the plastic receptacle lead into the motherboard. satisfied that the new fan is in proper working order, then the mounting plate with the 4 screws are put back like it was before we took it apart.